Welcome to my channel, Scary Horror and Mystery. We upload 3 to 5 times a week, so don't miss out on our stories. Are you ready to be scared? In this gripping horror story, a young boy goes hunting with his dad for the first time. Little does he know, the forest they enter holds secrets beyond his wildest nightmares. Strange whispers in the wind, shifting trees, and a terrifying creature lurking in the shadows all come together to create an unforgettable tale of fear and survival. But is the creature truly real, or just a figment of the boy's imagination? Join us on this spine-chilling journey as we explore the power of fear and the darkness that lurks in the unknown. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Okay, let's begin. When I was 10 years old, my dad decided it was time for me to learn how to hunt. He was an avid hunter, and he wanted to pass on his knowledge and skills to me. We packed our gear, loaded up the truck, and headed down south to the forests of Elba, where the deer were known to be plentiful and the scenery was breathtaking. As we drove through the winding roads, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement mixed with nervousness. Hunting was something completely new to me, and I didn't know what to expect. When we arrived at our destination, my dad led me to his favorite spot, a massive rock formation that towered over the forest. From the top of the rock, we could see for miles, and it was the perfect spot to spot deer. My dad had shot several big bucks from this very spot, and he was eager to see if we would have the same luck. We set up our camp chairs and guns at around 3 a.m., and we waited. It was quiet and still, except for the occasional hoot of an owl or the rustling of leaves in the breeze. The night was dark, and the stars shone brightly in the sky. As we waited, my dad told me stories about his previous hunting trips, and I listened intently, trying to soak up as much knowledge as possible. But after a while, the lull of the night and the warmth of my sleeping bag lulled me to sleep. I don't know how long I slept, but I was awoken by a jolt. Something had grabbed the leg of my chair and yanked it out from under me. I fell down the rock, tumbling and rolling all the way to the bottom of the hill. My dad came running over to check on me, and I was relieved to see that he was okay. But as we looked around, we noticed that something was off. The forest seemed different, darker, more ominous. The leaves rustled with an almost sinister sound, and the shadows seemed to move on their own. We tried to shake it off and continue with our hunt, but things only got stranger from there. The forest was eerily quiet, and we couldn't find any deer. We heard strange noises like whispers in the wind and saw shadows moving in the corners of our vision. As we sat there, watching and waiting, I noticed something moving in the distance. It was a figure, but it didn't look human. It was hunched over with long, thin arms and legs, and its skin was a sickly shade of green. It moved quickly, darting between the trees, and I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. "Did you see that?" I whispered to my dad. He nodded, his eyes wide with fear. "We need to get out of here," he said, his voice trembling. But it was too late. The creature had spotted us, and it was coming straight for us. It moved with an unnatural speed, and we were frozen in fear. As it got closer, we could see that it had a snake-like face, with razor-sharp fangs and slitted pupils. Its eyes glowed in the darkness, and its breath was hot and fetid. We could smell the stench of rotting flesh on its breath. We tried to run, but the creature was too fast. It lunged at us with its fangs bared, and we were knocked to the ground. I felt its weight on top of me, and I could hear my dad's screams as he fought for his life. I managed to wriggle out from under the creature, but my dad wasn't so lucky. I looked back and saw the creature dragging him away, his screams fading into the distance. I was alone in the dark forest, with no weapons or means of protection. I ran as fast as I could, trying to find my way back to the truck. but the forest seemed to shift and change around me, and I couldn't tell which direction I was going. I heard more whispers in the wind, and I saw strange lights flickering in the distance. The trees seemed to be closing in on me, and I felt like I was being watched by unseen eyes. Eventually, I stumbled upon a small cabin nestled deep in the forest. It was old and run, down with cobwebs covering the windows and a musty smell emanating from within. But it was the only shelter I could find, so I cautiously made my way inside. The cabin was dark and empty, but I could hear strange noises coming from the walls. It sounded like scratching and gnawing, and I felt a growing sense of unease. I tried to block out the noises and focus on finding a way out of the forest. But then I heard a voice. It was soft and whispery, and it seemed to be coming from inside the cabin. "Hello," it said. "Don't be afraid." I turned around, but there was no one there. The voice continued to speak, its words growing more and more sinister. It spoke of death and despair, of lost souls wandering the forest forever. I was paralyzed with fear, and I couldn't move. The voice seemed to be coming from all around me, and I felt like I was drowning in its darkness. Suddenly, the door burst open, and I saw the creature standing in the doorway. Its eyes glowed in the darkness, and its fangs were bared. I tried to run, but it was too fast. It tackled me to the ground and pinned me down. As I lay there, staring up at the creature, I realized the horrifying truth. The creature wasn't real. It was a manifestation of my own fear and anxiety, brought on by the strange and unfamiliar surrounding. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. Slowly but surely, the creature began to fade away until it was nothing more than a figment of my imagination. I stayed in the cabin for the rest of the night, too scared to venture back out into the forest. But when the sun rose the next morning, I gathered my courage and made my way back to the truck. I never told my dad what had happened, but I knew that I would never forget that night in the forest. From that day on, I never went hunting again. The forest held too many secrets, too many dark and unknown things lurking in the shadows. But I learned an important lesson that night. Fear is a powerful force, but it can also be conquered. Sometimes the things that scare us the most are the things that we create in our own minds. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the depths of horror. This story reminds us that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create in our own minds. Fear can be a powerful force, but it can also be overcome. We hope this story has left you on the edge of your seat and inspired you to confront your own fears. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more spine-chilling content. Until next time, stay brave and keep your eyes open in the dark.